Okay, so welcome to the fourth installment of my Terrible Fire card history series, and today we're going to talk about the Terrible Fire 328. This is the first card I ever made for the CD32, and the history behind this card was that there was, at the time, before this card came out, there wasn't really very many options for the CD32, and there certainly hadn't been any options made in the last, probably 20 years before this card was made, to be perfectly honest. And I had picked up a CD32 from eBay for, I think it was in a pile of, with a pile of other machines. It was in with a, I think I got a Amstrad CPC 6128 Plus. I got Nintendo GameCube. There was a few machines in there, and one of the machines that came was a CD32. And I thought, well, I think I got the whole bundle for 40 quid. Believe it or not, this was a long time ago now, and the CD drive didn't work, so the machine was basically generally useless. And after doing the TF 530, people had asked me, could I do a simple card for the CD32, and this is what I came up with. It doesn't have a processor on it. It has 8 megabytes of 8 megabytes of DRAM. I think this was the first time I ever did a DRAM, just a straight DRAM card, and an IDE interface. And that's all. And there's a 3.3 volt regulator. There was some address mucks for the, all of the address lines go into this, and then they're muxed onto the RAM, and that's all that this does. And this replaces about 3 other chips. I think 2 or 3 other chips that were on the design. I basically copied this design from the M608 card, and I think the Kipper 508 card is exactly the same as this, basically, but it was refactored into Xilinx CPLDs and put on the CD32. And I think I managed to design, implement, root, and produce a PCB for this in a weekend. I remember there was only ever like 2 revisions of this, the Rev 0 and the Rev 1. In fact, I think the Rev 1, I think this was also a PCB way job. So this was, I believe I was buying these in hundreds and selling them in hundreds on eBay, and I was making maybe £1 per board. But it was good, and it's not very complicated, but it gave the CD32 a lease of life. It gave the CD32 the chance to live again. The SX Pros, or the SX, I can't remember if it's the SX32 Pros, but the equivalent of this at the time, the original version of this for the CD32, I think you were talking a couple of £100, and it made the machines basically worthless. This gave the CD32 a lease of life. Before this card came out, you could get a CD32 with a broken CD drive for £40, maybe 50. Analogic were selling them, and Analogic aren't exactly the cheap option. They were selling them with a guarantee for £80-90 at the time, with a power supply. Can you believe that? Now, God knows. Let me know in the comments what they go for now. But see, this card single-handedly drove the prices of the CD32 right up. Unfortunately, I managed to get a few CD32s before the prices went north. But yeah, so it was basically out of necessity to make my CD32 usable. Having the IDE interface meant it could use the SCSI device driver that's on the CD32, Gale emulation in here, and a little bit of RAM control and MUX control here, and it kind of worked really, really well. It gave the machine 8 mega fast RAM. It gave it a wee bit of a boost performance-wise, but the most important thing was it gave it an IDE interface, which meant that you could actually use it. You could get to Workbench, you could you could use it like you would an A1200 with 8 meg of fast RAM. It was basically, it was that sort of, and I think these sold for £40 originally. They're probably selling for more than that now, but they were originally sort of in the £40 built range. Again, as soon as we built them, the RAM chips went up in price. The UT source started driving the RAM chips up in price. And I remember that there were some lads that had tried different versions of the RAM chips with fast page mode or IDE, and it didn't work. And I had a bit of a miserable time with the firmware on this over the summer of 2017. But other than that, it kind of just worked. And once it was nailed, and nobody's had a complaint about one of these in about 5 years. So I assume it's stable, doesn't need any work. We only had one revision of it, as far as I can tell, at least one revision public. Yeah, so it's the CD32 IDE and CD32 RAM and IDE board, and it was done in 2017. I think it was done in April 2017. And I think that's basically everything. The designs for this is public. Nobody's complained about it. It is supported. I will fix bugs in this one if it's possible. If somebody has a bug, I will fix it. But so far, I haven't had any complaints about this for a while. So, yeah, guess that's all. That's everything. I'm trying to think if there was any sort of stories other than the fact that I did this in a weekend with it. I can't remember anything else about any more stories about it. Yeah, I think it's everything. So, thanks for watching. There'll be another one tomorrow. If you like this, give it a like. If you want to be notified of the next one, then subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and have a good one.